Hello and welcome again to another episode of Melf's Musings. I'm Ken Horowitz from Sega16.com, and today's topic is Phantasy Star. Now, this is a series that has maintained itself in the public eye over the last decade or so, but it's always had that stigma of not being exactly what fans want. Those of us who grew up with the original 4 titles on the Master System and then on the Genesis have been waiting for a Phantasy Star 5 or at least something resembling those 4 titles to come out, and Sega has gone in another direction. Now, personally, I'm a fan of Phantasy Star Online. I played over 200 hours on the Dreamcast, and when it came out on the original Xbox, I put another 200 or so hours into it, and if I had a copy of the game today that I could play online, I would probably pump 200 hours more. I love it that much. What disappoints me the most is just how niche Sega has made this series. This was once its flagship RPG franchise, and now it's been reduced to a specific type of gameplay and only on portables. If you own a DS, you were able to play Phantasy Star Zero in 2009, and I played a little bit of that, and it was pretty cool. But basically, PSP and Vita owners have been the only ones able to enjoy Phantasy Star over the past 5 years. I mean, you had Phantasy Star Online 2 come out in Japan in 2012, and in Asia it's coming out in 2014. Phantasy Star Nova's coming out in 2014. Phantasy Star Portable came out in 2009, and the sequel a year later. All on Sony's portable machines. Nothing on console. And the thing is that Phantasy Star Online 2 hasn't even been released in the States. I mean, Asia got it, or is going to get it later this year, I believe, but no announcement for the West. Europe, North America, can't play it. Supposedly, Phantasy Star Nova is going to be compatible with Vita TV, but I don't know how compatible that would be with the version that's coming to the States. If I buy Vita TV to play here in America, can I play an import on it? Is it region free or is it region locked? But why should I even have to ask that question? It should at least come out in the States. I mean, you're not going to put it on a console. At least put it on the American version of the portable. But Phantasy Star fans have had to sit back for the last 5, 6, 7 years and just on the outside looking in, waiting to see if Sega's ever going to give them something. You know, at this point, I would settle for an Xbox Live or Sony Entertainment Network version of Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 through 4. You know, 1 and 2 came out on Dreamcast and on Xbox. Blue Burst, I believe, came out on GameCube, and then it was repackaged and expanded on Windows. Just give me that. Give me that. I'll pay $15 for that. I'll pay $20 for that to be able to play that online again with my friends and experience all those new, all those areas and everything. But please, don't do like you did with Phantasy Star Online on the Xbox. I bought that when they started charging the Rangers license. The amount of people online dropped off immensely. I stayed on for 6 months to see what they were going to offer, and I think we got a quest featuring Knights and maybe one other quest, and that was it. It was so not worth the money. If you're going to make it online, at least just release it for $15, $20 and let us play free to play. But at least give us that. Repackage the old stuff and give us that if you're not going to give us anything new. Personally, I would prefer that Sega go and give us a new Phantasy Star. I know they tied up the story of the Algol Star system in Phantasy Star 4, but they can take the universe that they've created with the Phantasy Star Online games and give us a traditional RPG. It doesn't even have to be a traditional turn-based RPG. Use the same style of mechanics that you have in Phantasy Star Online, but make it, a single-player game. In traditional RPG style, but we can use that over-the-shoulder third-person perspective. I don't care. I just would like to be able to continue to play this series. I mean, there's no reason why other series, look at Final Fantasy, they're up to what, 14, 15, 38, I don't know what number they're up to already, and those games have absolutely nothing in common with each other except for the name, maybe the materia system, and what, Sid? You know, and so why can't Sega, and I might be wrong about that, I haven't played a Final Fantasy game in years, so don't crucify me if I mess that up. But, I mean, come on, if Square can do that, Sega can at least take the games it's already making and make them available to people in the West. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I would be happy, honestly, with even just a port of Phantasy Star Online episodes 1 through 4 at this point. Something, anything. They keep cock teasing us because on every time they release a Genesis collection, they put the Phantasy Star games there. They go and they release the Phantasy Star Generations and don't bring them over to the States. And now you've got Phantasy Star Online 2 and Phantasy Star Nova that are announced for the Vita in Japan. So if you don't own that struggling portable machine in Japan, oh, I'm sorry, you can't play Phantasy Star. And I would think that this is a franchise that is deserving of much, much more than that. I mean, Phantasy Star has that name recognition, the name brand recognition to reach a much wider audience. Sega must obviously agree, otherwise they wouldn't keep releasing games with the name. You know, if they felt that there was no brand recognition attached to it, they wouldn't keep using the brand. But they seem to enjoy torturing us. So, anyway, give your comments down below. Remember to thumbs up the video and to subscribe if you haven't. Head on over to our Facebook page, facebook.com/sega16.com, and head on over to the website and read our reviews, features, and interviews, and join the forum community. And as always, until next time, take care.